So in today's video, we're going to look at how to take some data like this. And so in this case, it's population, but your case it could be sales, whatever it is. And then we're going to bring it over into a US map where you can check boxes to determine what is displayed. And you can dynamically compare across different regions, reps, whatever it is that you want to do. All right, so let's jump right in. So I'm going to delete this and delete this formula real quick here. And then we're going to build this from scratch. So here is our data. The way we're going to do this is we're going to do regions here. And so if you're not sure how to populate this from your data, you could do something like this equals unique, and then go to your data, select that, drop that N reference, and then there's that data. And so select that, and then we're going to do copy and paste special values only. And then you could sort these if you like. So we come down here, we can do sort range, just like that, if you want them alphabetical order. And you can put them over here with a checkbox next to each. So let me show you real quick how you can create those checkboxes. So just select the cells next to those options and then insert and checkbox. And you can change the options on the checkbox as well if you want to set those like that. All right, so there's our basic options. And so what we're going to do with this filtered is I'm going to take this data, and then based on the selections, I'm going to return state and population. And so what we're going to do here, let's just go ahead and start with this. So filter our data like this, where our region, and then what we're going to have to do here is something like this. So instead of this, where we compare it to, we could do something like this. And then we just have the mid-Atlantic, but we want to tie it to the checkboxes. So the way we're going to do that is called a match formula. And so let's go in here, and we're going to do match, and we're going to take that column A, and then we need to match it to the ones here. So we could match it to all of them, just like this, and this will show all the data, but we want to depend on what is selected. So if we select two of these, how will we only return those two? Well, the easiest way would be to use a filter. So let's do filter, and then select this. So comma, and then we're going to say equals to true. Now, one thing that is off here is I'm still looking at this one, so I need to change that to column B. So let's change that to B right here, and hit enter, and lo and behold, there we go. So if I go just a bit Atlantic, you can see that. If I add New England, if I add Midwest, you can see that list gets longer and longer. Now, what happens if we have none checked? So if we have none checked, then we're going to have this error. So what we may want to do is make this show everything. So first of all, I'm going to cut this with Control X, and I'm going to say if, and what we're going to do is count if this true is equal to 0. So in other words, if nothing's checked, then we're going to do a simple array formula and grab all this data. So I'm going to do B2 through C. Otherwise, I'll paste back that filter function, and there we go. So at this point, we're returning everything. And then if we check something, now we're only returning that. So let's go ahead and uncheck this, and then we're good to create our chart. So let's go ahead and select these two columns, insert and chart, and then let's go ahead and copy this over to our dashboard, and we can go back here, delete that, and let's do our options here. So let me make this a little bit smaller so it'll fit in here, something like that. And then let's double click on that up here, and we'll go to our setup and chart type. If we scroll down, we want to find this map. And then this still isn't quite right, so we need to go customize, geo, and then go to United States. And now we're getting close. So one thing you may want to do is change the mid to something like this, so you can determine how you want that to be displayed. So maybe something like that. And then at this point, we're pretty much good to go. So at this point now, if we go Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, New England, you can skip that and go down the Pacific coast. You can quickly and easily see and compare the population compared to each other. So one more thing before we get done with this is I'm going to go back to customize, chart style. And I'm just going to make this look a little cleaner by doing background and border the same. And then we'll X out, and there we go. So that's it for today's video. Make sure to check out the other videos on our channel for more tutorials on both Google Sheets and AppScript. And as always, have a great day.